Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Storyline Introspection of Thoughts. I'm your host, Delina Nicholas from Department of Arts and Humanities, and today's episode will be talking about the importance of mental health among adolescents. For this, we have an amazing college counselor, Neha ma'am and Vishal sir. We welcome you both. So, can you introduce yourself?
Yes, thank you so much for having us, Delina. It was such a privilege to be here. My name is Vishal. I work as a counselor here. I look after the student counselor sessions. We also take some workshops apart from that as well. So we can call ourselves digital ambassadors of mental health in CAIAS.
So, my very first question is, why is mental health so important among adolescents? To both of you.
That's a very good question. Mental health is a very underrated topic. I think most people don't talk about it. There could be a little bit of knowledge gap regarding that topic, but we see it a lot. We don't identify it as mental health. That's what I think. Because most students come here, it's very natural problems, actual issues in their life, home, college, studies. But it's difficult to deal with those problems on a regular basis. I often feel we are in a fast-paced society where it's difficult to catch up with our thoughts, our emotions and feelings. And counseling and the importance of mental health is just to take a pause, to reflect what are we feeling, what are we thinking. Can we just take a pause and rest for a while and sit with that thought and see what can we do about it. I think that is a beautiful way of saying the importance of mental health in the present time. Most people are unable to do it. So it's one thing I think I could see.
Like Vishal said, maybe a lot of people might not realize it's mental health, but it actually could be, right? For example, when somebody has a physical problem, if somebody has like a broken bone, they need to take rest for it to recover. But because mental health issues are not very visible, it becomes a lot harder. So if somebody is struggling, they might be going through it all by themselves. So maybe just coming and talking to somebody is what they need the most in that moment. And I think that's how our role helps here, because we offer that space for anybody who wants to share something. It may not just be for people who are going through something really big in their lives, but it could be someone who's struggling with something small. It could be like a fight with a friend or like a breakup that they're going through, or they're struggling with their academics. For any of these, they can actually approach us and we'd be there.
Do you think when the students come and approach, do you think everything what they're going through, they then tell everything to you, or only the certain incidents what has happened they'll tell?
I think that's an interesting question, Darina. So, in the beginning, students feel like they don't know how much they can trust us because we work in an institution and there is a lot of hierarchy to talk. But it's a process. Sometimes eventually they realize that they can trust us, and then they'd be more willing to share with us than they are in the first session perhaps. But eventually I think the counseling room is one place where they can be very vulnerable. They can be their true selves and nobody's judging them for it. So
what are the challenges you have faced to becoming a counselor? What are the outcomes or the challenges you go that?
I think counseling is a very unique profession. We have to tailor your methods or approaches to every person. So you cannot run the same method of approach to every person. Like you said, not many students show up, right? They have different ways of comfort. So with some students or some people that we can really easily talk about what is their concern, maybe they're ready to talk about it. But whereas some people, they are still yet to figure out what their problems are. They feel there's some heaviness and some difficulty. They're unable to do the thing that they want to do. So for those students, maybe we should spend more time with.
yeah, like Vishal said, it's not a one-size-fits-all approach. Like when individuals come to us, they have certain things that they expect, and we also become different therapists as ourselves, right?
We also see how not every, let's say there's a lot of therapeutic techniques or approaches, but not everything fits every person, right? So if there's somebody with childhood issues, or they want to talk about how the relationship with their parents has been really good, but then as growing up it has diminished a little bit. So they feel the lack of love sometimes, but everything else is really good. So understanding those small nuances is difficult at times. Not every situation can help with the same therapeutic approach. So they need to add something different, try to understand what is the situation of the person in their home and their friends and other circles. So understanding different things can help us to understand how do we help them. So that is, I think, one of the challenging parts, to be creative enough to not follow the same path every time, but to find new ways every time we see a person. So this is one of the challenging things as a counselor. I think even Neha can relate to this. That's one thing that counselors are called a challenge every time, I think.
Yeah, one more thing that I want to add is the same mental health problem can look different in each individual. Like, for example, depression in itself, for one person, it could mean social withdrawal, but for the other person, it could mean I'm not able to do anything that I really used to love. It could mean a loss of identity. So then, we are here to offer what each person needs. So it could be a little tricky, but I think it's also a really fun experience, offering what they need, identifying what they need most in that moment. For some people, it could be reflection, but for others, it could be social support or working on themselves. So it varies.
So as you mentioned depression, so many people, they tend to tell that if their day is going bad or they're feeling low, they always tell this word called I was depressed. So how do you differentiate between the sadness and depression?
So one of the clear differences, depression is more clinical in nature. There is certain eligibility criteria that decides or diagnoses you to be a depressed person. But the recent level of norms that we see is social media being so much of fire these days, where most of the information or your source of information or knowledge comes from social media, which does not have.
Is it really affecting?
Yes.
Social media, is it really affecting us?
Definitely, I think that's a very important factor, I would say. I think it impacts our attention span, the way we consume information, the way we process information, and how quickly we look for attention and validation as well. Also, we can see that's a very clear impact of social media on mental health. And especially in terms of understanding what mental disorders are, issues are, knowledge regarding them also, I think social media is playing a very crucial role. So that could be a good and bad as well.
So one more thing I want to add is sadness could be a temporary emotion that you're feeling, whereas depression is a lot more long lasting. Like, for example, somebody who's going through depression goes through it for a longer period of time and it becomes a part of who they are. Like, it really affects what they're doing. But when somebody who's just sad for a moment and they say, I am depressed, you're sort of trivializing and invalidating those who are actually experiencing depression, right? So I think as adolescents, we really need to be mindful of what we're saying, because these are very nuanced and sensitive terms. So it's not good to throw it around just like that, because then we're not really understanding the meaning behind it.
What are the real, how does it affect depression? Like, if I'm going through a depression, so how does it affect mentally? What are the changes, or what mentally, how is it seen?
Okay, so you're asking for signs of depression?
Yeah.
Okay then. So maybe I could start with how
You are able to sleep. When we are beat at times, you would know why are you feeling low. There's so many signs and markers that you can see to the person who's going through depression. In the way they want to interact with people. There are some social factors that are very visible when you sleep. Person who's got into depression, they might seem very happy as well. At the same time, they might be going through something very deep by themselves.
Like, one of the very common signs is losing pleasure in doing things that they used to really like doing earlier. Maybe it could be something like art or something like, hanging out with their friends. But when a person is actually depressed, one of the first things that is usually affected is something that they really like doing. They feel like they don't find the same joy that they used to before. And then a lot of people experience social withdrawal. They feel like even if they're around people, they don't want to be. They want to isolate themselves. Yeah, they just want to be left by themselves.
So being a counselor, what is the frequent issues you have come across among the students? The frequent issues.
I think issues could be very varied. The source point could be very similar to a lot of things. I think there are some patterns that we can see. Maybe a person coming from adjustment issues with students or their own peers, or fear of losing somebody or fear of losing friendships and being hurt by very passive arguments as well. So in all of this, Counsellors also talk about how your childhood also matters a lot. So when you see across a lot of students, you can see how childhood and parenting is a very crucial factor for them to grow and develop as an individual human being. So the way you are treated as a child in your childhood makes a lot of impact on how you are and how you relate with your peers and how much do you express yourself in your friend circle. It makes a lot of difference. I think parenting and how you grow up in your primary initial ages of your life makes a lot of impact on that.
An interesting fact is that a lot of people do not necessarily realize that they experience problems in their childhood, right? So it's only when they come and talk to their friend, they realize that, oh, this happened to me and this wasn't right. So when they come and talk to us, they feel like, oh, this shouldn't have happened, but then it did. And there are a lot of consequent problems that happen because of that. So maybe they deserve to be treated in a different way earlier, but they didn't get that kind of care. So now they're different people because of it. So some common things that that I have dealt with are maybe emotional neglect from their parents, a lot of abuse from the family, maybe relationship issues, and I think anxiety and depression as such have also increased by a lot. And the rate of panic attacks. So a lot of students have been experiencing panic attacks and they just need a moment to deal with it, and it becomes our job to be there for them. But we've seen a rise in all of that.
Yeah, adding to that, I think there's a lot of love that you're supposed to get while you grow up. I think it's a lot of important factor, how you grow up, how you learn, how you learn new knowledge. Right? There are a lot of important factors as you grow up. We see a lot of students maybe not getting enough love from home sometimes.
Yeah.
It's a very thin line sometimes. People think that's just parenting, but then you may find a lot of abuse or difficulty and hardships. The words that you use, the actions that you do in your home can impact the student growing up. When they come here and maybe with their friends, they see other students being much happier, or maybe
they see the difference at home, and the other person who is telling you, the other person carrying it so good, and when when our family is like somewhere going through so much of trouble, you get so you can't explain it how. I mean, we tend to tell that, oh, that family was so good, and we wish that we could have a family like that. So it's hard to.
Yeah, what you're saying makes a lot of sense. It creates a lot of comparison also, and you also realize, oh, I didn't get that.
You get the thought that no, you should not compare our family. Our family is much good.
Yeah.
We should not compare it. But certain times when they react like that, you feel that the bond should be there, what they are also taking.
Most often when you're in that situation, the student might feel, what am I missing out of all things so different? But then that's their lived experience about their life, maybe 20 years or 19 years of their life. That's what they've been thinking. So to even think that, okay, I could be different, maybe the way I'm treated can be different, is a huge process of change. So most of the time they're in the counseling room trying to change that, restructure their perception and beliefs about how parenting can look like. How can I receive love in a better manner? How can I be treated much better? So understanding that and what you can do for yourself. So there are a lot of things that will help the student to get better. And that's what happens usually in the counseling room. They try to understand, I can do some things really well for myself when they try to do it.
Okay. So the next, being a counselor, like how many students have you approximately covered? Are you able to cover every month? Are they willingly coming, or you just have to call them, seeing their, the background and all? You have to call them, or are they willing to come for seeking help?
That's a very relevant question, and I think Vishal and I both have been here for over a year. And how many students have we counseled together with that?
More than 3.
And it's very hard. 50?
50?
Well, I was thinking maybe around 80 or so, but these numbers
very hard for the institution like used to cover everyone and these students are instead of declare.
Yeah, I think the number 80 or so itself tells us that the help-seeking behavior is very low, but there are a few students who actually admit that, okay, I really want to go talk to the counselor, and that itself is an immense act of courage, right? Because you're admitting that, oh, I need some help. And I want to say that that's okay. But yeah, we have students both who want to come talk to us out of their own free will, but there are also students that like the faculties refer. Sometimes, when a teacher notices that there's something different, they need some kind of help, they may also refer to us. And we also have a mentoring program that CCHs offers. So the faculties themselves, talk to students each semester to identify if there is any area that we can help them with. So yeah, there's both, but mostly like the long-term students that we work with, they usually come out of their free will.
Yeah.
Okay. Teen go through so many, they go through and like physically, mentally, emotionally, they go to so many things. So do you think this things, it is an issue for mental health? The main reason for the physical or mentally, even if like in the social media, in the context of that, social media, if you get a bad comment also, they physically get so, they go through so much that, oh, this comment made me so feel bad, that am I like this? Seriously, that one comment will always change a perspective, that am I really like this? So what is your opinion on?
I think there's a TV show called Adolescent that clearly answers your question there. It's a show where a student, a small boy, who gets impacted by a lot of bullying, all the cyberbullying and all of the things. And I think if we look at our own circles and the social media at the present time, whatever we see on social media impacts us a lot. Like impacts us, influences our decisions of behavior and emotions and feelings. And the way we scroll things, maybe one post is very happy, other post is very sad.
Right.
It makes us completely influenced upon our behavior and our thoughts. So social media definitely has an impact. And definitely teens have very young minds, young brains, always curious, always attentive, attracted to new knowledge and new information. They constantly keep learning. In this process where you're constantly being attacked or influenced with so much information, they may get influenced. That's what we see in adolescence TV show as well, how the student gets constantly bullied and it's difficult for him to take it and it's overloading his mind to what is right and what is wrong. So that way diminish the moral values that you may have, what is right and what is wrong. So your moral behavior or how you want to act in your public or your society may be influenced by social media more than your parents or the good sources out there. So definitely I think social media has an impact on teenage and the present here.
Yeah, teenage is a very crucial period because there are a lot of factors that are involved. You're at that phase where, people start treating you slowly as an adult, but you don't qualify as an entire adult, but you're expected to make your own decisions, act like an adult. So this also comes with a lot of maybe the freedom to make your own decisions, but you also need to know that they're the right decisions for you. But overall, it's a very confusing period because this could be the time that you're exposed to a lot of social media. You get your first phone or, and you don't know what to do out there. Yeah. And when you come to college, your peer circles really influence what kind of habits you get into. And like you said, one comment could really destroy how you're feeling about yourself. And like in that friend circle, what's considered cool or what's not could also lead to how they see themselves. So sometimes because of the pressure to fit in, they feel like, oh, I need to do this. Sometimes a person may not want to smoke or drink, but because they want to feel like they belong to that group, they may feel forced to.
Yeah.
So I think it's really important for us to be cautious about who we're hanging out with, identify if they're really contributing to our well-being or is it really bad. Sometimes we need to identify what's healthy for us and what's not. So it's a very influential period. Sometimes we care a lot about what others think, and social media doesn't really help in that regard, right? Like a lot of comparison comes into play. Yeah, so I think it's a very vulnerable period, which makes it more challenging. But we want to say we are here to help people who are struggling through these things. I mean, you don't have to do it all alone. So it's okay to extend a hand or support. I mean, even if you just want to open up with a friend, right?
Or support system.
Yeah, even if it's with a friend, it's okay. It's also a very judgmental period because
Sometimes when we share everything with our friends, also at that certain point where we get that friend, when they show their real face, and it is the worst thing that where we share each and everything about family, each and everything, and then that person they show their real face, and we feel that everything we have shared, and what if they go and tell to other person? That is also always something.
The fear.
Yeah.
so something
All your
that-
personal things, you share everything, and later you get to know, and we both are not talking to each other, and later we get to know that. And that, what if that person also go and hey,
I want to share something here. So when Vishal and I go to classes for doing a workshop or something that we ask the students is, how is counseling different from talking to a friend? And something that he always emphasizes it on is what you just spoke about, which is how when you share something with a friend, there is a risk of it being shared with other people, even though you may trust them. So how the counseling space is really different is that it is our job to be confidential. Like what you tell us stays with us. It stays within the room, and no matter who asks us, it may be the management, it could be other faculties, it could be each other or your friends for that matter. We don't share it without your written consent. Like what you tell us
Yeah.
stays with us.
Well, that's one of the beautiful things about counseling, where you can trust the counselor to talk about that.
if you don't feel that good or comfortable with friends or family, I think counseling is the main thing that makes us comfortable and share each and everything, whatever our because the counselors also they are not judgmental. They just give the opinion, what you're going through your phases and all. They just give the good opinion, and they tell what to do and what not to do. So I think
Actually, we don't do that actually. So counseling is how a mirror.
yes.
Yeah, I was just going to say that.
Yeah, counseling is like a mirror where we help you reflect on did you do what you wanted or not. So there is no advice giving involved. I mean, people think there is. I mean, we don't tell you this is right or this is wrong, but we help you make the decision for yourself.
Like I said initially, it's a little bit of reflection, right? You take a pause to reflect. So we as a mirror, just let you see and take your, let's say, there's some flaws on your face, there are some marks on your face. You may see some, you may not see some. So we always see some marks and think that's the only problem I have to deal with it. But we give you that 1 hour of time to look at all the other marks as well and see, okay, identify these other problems. Okay, I never saw this before. I want to focus on that. So it's a reflective process where you can see for yourself and see, do you want to deal with this right now or not? So it's a opportunity to reflect and think, I want to work on it. And there, the counselor facilitates that space for you to deal with it, and we are a support system for you for that time.
One thing that I do want to add on is that one thing that we bring to the table is objectivity. So there could be a certain way in which you're seeing things, right? Like your perception, but what we offer is maybe the other side of it, something that you've been missing out on. If you're looking at something from here, we help you zoom out, look at it from a bird's eye perspective, so you can see the larger picture. So suddenly it's not just, this is not just the way that you're seeing the problem, you're able to get a holistic view of it.
Yes.
So I think that's one way in which we help.
So, how is counseling really helpful in this for teenagers, especially if they're going through a mental health issue? Or how is it really? Is it really important? What is your opinion about it?
I think it's important to acknowledge that if you need help, you can seek it. But maybe everybody doesn't need to go for counseling. It's a completely personal decision. And also one thing that I have to say about being a counselor and dealing with teenagers is a very tricky population, because sometimes they feel like they're forced to go into it. They don't know how much they can trust the person. But I think it becomes our job to show them that you can trust us, that we are here for you. Yeah, we're not trying to change them or mind them in a certain way, nothing like that. We're just there to create that space for them where they can be themselves. We are here to hold that space for them, and I think that's one of the most important things that we do.
Teenagers, if we're a good population, it's not very easy to give a normal answer for that. We need to understand who they are. I think most of the time with teenagers, you need to understand how their brain is wired. What do they like? How do they like things? What is friendship according to them? What is a love from a parent according to them? What do they like? Why do they like it? There are a lot of things that we need to understand about teenagers. So we cannot just talk to them that very well for you also said it. It's a lot of time-taking process. But personally, I feel it's a enjoyable process. When you're actually spending with a teenager, there's a lot of curiosity. I think as a counselor, it challenges me to be more creative, more curious, and be more playful and be more unique when I see teenagers genuine. Because that brings the best out of you as a counselor. That's what I feel. It also, I think teenagers have a lot of things to say, but they give them very less space to talk about them and very less space to express about them. The counseling is a really beautiful space for them to vent out, express, play, have fun, explore themselves. I see a lot of students taking new decisions after counseling. Sometimes they maybe missed out as a child. Now they take it up again and try to see how it works for them. Maybe they missed it as a child, as a playing games or artwork. They take it up again, enjoy the same, maybe even more sometimes. So, that helps.
See, in a way, it's like going back home to the best version of yourself. That's really how counseling helps. Like, we want you to become the person you always dreamt of becoming, and that's how we help you.
Yeah, I mean, every time you hear from an adult saying that you're an adult now, why you act like a kid, it stops you from being a kid who wish to actually be very curious and creative. You're not actually stopping the kid from being fun. It's also about being mischievous, but it's also about stopping the creativity and curiosity as well. So when you say stop being a kid, being an adult, you're stopping a lot of things there as well.
Yeah, and the secret to life really is to enjoy being the kid that you've always been.
Yeah.
What are the positive changes do you want to see in teenagers regarding this mental health?
I think something that we struggle with, not just with teenagers, but also adults, is the stigma that exists around mental health.
Over here.
A lot of people see it as taboo to still talk about it, or I don't think some people don't even acknowledge it as a component of health, right? But it is in fact a very important part that contributes to how you live your life.
One positive change I would want to see is the perception towards mental health and therapy in general, I think, in counseling. Most of the times we take therapy and counseling only for people who go through very severe disorders or concerns, but not really. I see a lot of students coming and just talking about how their day went really well. Just talking about how their day really went. And then that is beautiful to express and just talk about. Most of the time we don't appreciate the goodness in our lives, right? We don't give thanks to the things that we're grateful for. I think that's what we miss out on.
We just only stick on to the bad things happen and we just recall only that.
Yeah, I think we are in a race where we never find our finish line to see that, okay, I've done it. I won the race. We don't appreciate ourselves for small winnings. We always keep postponing our finish line, right? There's no stop for us. We don't take a pause and appreciate. I've done a lot of work. Today it was very difficult for me to function. My emotions were all over the place. But I did well. I was able to manage well. I was able to appreciate people well. I was able to thank people well. This was very difficult for me yesterday, but today was a little better. Take a moment to appreciate yourself. And most often, we miss that. And counseling is a place where a lot of appreciation, affirmations come to you, where you try to identify, acknowledge the difficult things that you've been through, and then you appreciate yourself for going through that. And still, okay, I've done this, won the race. And the next challenge. So I think that is one thing I would like to see in people. It's not just for people who want the very severe concerns. It's about everybody. Anybody can come to counseling. Anybody can come to therapy and talk about things. And especially with adults and society and parents, they often fear about counseling and therapy, right? They think we can change their minds, read their lives.
Especially the grandparent.
Definitely.
They'll be like, why did you go? What made you to go?
Exactly.
Just talk.
Yeah, for people, viewers, psychologists can't read minds, so you don't have to be scared of talking to a psychologist or a counselor. So, yeah, that was key.
Okay, what do you like the most being a counselor?
Just listen to the stories of people, right?
Or different stories?
Different stories. Everybody got the different story.
And
Some creative, some fun, some difficult, some sad, some painful. But over the period of time, you see how a person struggling in sadness, you can see them transform, go through a journey of difficulties. You see a process of healing that happens. I think being a counselor, you witness a person grow. You witness a person being healed in the process. We usually see, okay, this person studies and then he won a rank. But then how much did he study throughout the whole time? How much effort did he put in his life? I think as counselors, we are with them while they're studying, that time when nobody else is seeing. We get to see that process of change, the healing that happens slowly and eventually. I think that gives a lot of satisfaction and such a beautiful feeling to know that, okay, this person was here, but now look at them and so changed, transformed into a beautiful person. So I think that is one thing that I really cherish being a counselor.
It's like he ready.
So I call this temple that sometimes.
No, but really, the unfolding that happens, like when an individual comes in, they could be struggling with this, but sometimes when they walk out that room, there are so many things that they've acknowledged, so many insights that they've had, so many things that make sense to them at the end of that 1 hour, right? And the healing that you see over a period of time is really beautiful because actually recently, I think some of our clients graduated and they are not the same people that they were when they first came in, and that change is really beautiful to witness. So I think I think it's one of the best parts about being a counselor.
It's a lot of encouragement for us to see more students and help you all that a lot of boost that we get in all those experiences. I suggest more psychologists to come up and help other people as well.
To our listeners, thank you so much for watching this. And you have already seen this episode that we had really so good fun and we were really happy to share each other perspective. So I think even you can go seek help with the counselors there in the college, and that will really help you for your future thing. So thank you so much. Stay tuned.